part 3 of the summer road trip tour. We just left Bonneville and we're heading back to Canada because I just bought a 32 Ford. So this is part 3 of our summer road trip tour. We left Victoria a couple weeks ago and went to Hot Rod-A-Rama in Pendleton, Oregon. That was part 1. Then part 2, we went from Pendleton, Oregon to Wendover, Nevada, Utah. It's right on the border for Speed Week at the Bonneville Salt Flats. And now we're heading up to Vancouver to see Carl at Make It Kustoms. Like I just mentioned, I bought a 32 Ford. So a few weeks ago, I was just sitting on, I think I was having lunch. Jim and I were having lunch, and I was like, I'm going to see what's on Kijiji. I haven't gone on Kijiji lately. And for the last couple years or so, I've kind of been just casually looking for a Model A sedan. I really like the 47. It's great. It does all the right things, but I want something older. So the Model A, like my Roadster, it's great, but whenever Doris rides in it, it's just too tight. So if I could get a Model A sedan, it would be like driving the Roadster and the 47 at the same time. So I've kind of been looking for one of those. Go on Kijiji, and here in Ontario, I find this old 32 Ford hot rod. It's built as a hot rod in, I think he said Indiana, in the late 50s or early 60s. Anyways, it was cheaper than any Model A sedan I've ever seen. It was almost like Model T prices. So I was like, that can't be real. So I called the guy, and sure enough, it's like the real deal thing. So I talked to him on the phone for a few hours. And it turns out he actually lives really close to Jim's brother, Jesse, who I've known Jesse for years. So I called Jesse, and he went over and looked at it, sent me a bunch of pictures. We made the deal. Jesse picked the car up. So anyways, I got a shipping company to pick it up in London, Ontario. And he was going to drop it off the same day that we would be, I think, at Hot Rod-A-Rama, which was part 1 of this series. So, yeah, that didn't work out. So I originally called my friend Ross Galitsky, and he's like, yeah, no problem. And he realized he's not going to be home either. He was on his way to Whitehorse. So we dropped it off at Carl's place. So we're going to head there right now. And, well, not right now. We'll be there in probably maybe the end of the day, hopefully. I think it's about an 8 or 9 hour drive from where we're at now. So, yeah, we're going to hit the highway and head up there. We're in Olympia right now, and this is where we're parting ways with Richard and Steve. They're going to head up the Olympic Peninsula to Port Angeles and catch the ferry to Victoria, and we're going to stay to the right of the peninsula, head up through Seattle, and then cut over through Abbotsford and over to Mission to see Carl. So we're on our own now. So I don't know if you're allowed to drive in the carpool lane with a truck and trailer, but we're doing it. We've got out of country plates, so they work so good. Look at this. Look at all these suckers. We're just north of Seattle right now in Arlington, Washington. We got a little bit of time to kill, so we're going to stop in and visit my friend Bruce Donnellan, one of the coolest people I know. Last night we left Bruce's place and came here. We're at a rest area just outside of Bellingham, Washington, where we spent the night. We're going to head up to the border now and cross the border back into Canada and then go see Carl and get the car. Hey, puppy dog. We've made it to Carl's place here at Make It Kustoms. Here it is. What a homely looking car. But I knew that going into it, so we'll clean it up. We'll make it all right. I'm going to attempt to drive this thing home. Apparently the guy that I bought it from has been driving it since 1980. So we got to load all this stuff up and then figure out how to start it and drive it. Okay, we got it all cleaned out now. There's a lot of extra parts in here. Gas tank is held in with bungee cords. That's cool. That's safe. Carl's trying to find the keys right now. Not sure what happened to them, but man, check this out. This guy must have worked at Home Depot or something. You know how expensive lumber is? Let's see if there's any oil in this thing. Oh yeah, she's got oil. Already checked the radiator. Check out this rad. Isn't this trick? Apparently it's this is a B model rad, which is for a 4-cylinder, and this guy got super creative and made that work, so we're gonna fix that probably first thing. Cool grill insert. I think Carl wants that grill insert. So we just got a jumper wire on it, basically just hot wired the car because the keys have disappeared somewhere. So fire it up, see if it'll make it home. How far is it to the ferry from here? Like an hour?
Yeah, an hour and a little bit.
Hour and a little bit. It'll be fine. Sitting on it, that'll hold it down. Okay, we're ready to hit the road now. We checked all the lights, and the only ones that work is the brake lights, so that's fine. We stepped on the brakes. This is the only wheel that did anything, so that's fine. We got an hour and 20 minutes drive to the ferry. Should probably see how much gas is in it. I know it's got coolant and oil, so gas is, yeah, that's the last thing to check. Cool. What could go wrong? It died a couple times. I think it ran out of gas, so we just got to the
Turn right onto King George Boulevard, then keep left onto Scott Road.
Anyways, as I was saying before we got interrupted here by Siri, filled it up. So I don't know if it was actually running out of gas or if it's this fucking sweet fuel line installation job here. But, oh, I guess I gotta hook my jumper wire back up here. But I think we're back on the road again. Rock and roll. Found out why it was stalling. The battery fell into the drive shaft like that. And this is how it's wired. We just died. We're this close. this close and it dies. We got it going again. Shannon pulled up behind and we just boosted it with the truck. We're just pulling up to Troublesome right now to catch a ferry to Victoria. I'm pretty confident we're gonna make it home. We made it to the ferry. Man, that was so stressful. So I only showed on the video like maybe a fraction of the times that it actually died. What was happening is the coil kept getting really hot and cutting out. So it would just die. And we'd pull over on the side of the road, have to let it cool down for a little bit. We'd hook the jumper cables up to the truck, charge the battery up, and then eventually it would fire up and it would go for like another sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, and then it would die again. The super stressful part about it was the highway that comes out to Troublesome, where the ferry is, has no shoulder at all on it, and it was an extremely busy highway. So we'd be driving along and it would die, and we'd pull over to what was the side of the road basically, put cars behind us, they were honking, there was trucks slamming their brakes on. It was pretty scary, pretty stressful, but we made it. We're gonna take the spare, we stole the battery out of the Roadster and just had it hooked up to jumper cables to this super janky battery in here, but it was starting to run low. Because we don't have the keys for this and we just like jumped it with this jumper wire, the alternator doesn't charge. And I know Carl gave us a second jumper wire when we left his place, but I don't know where it is. So, because I was gonna like just jump the alternator so that it would charge battery, but we lost it somewhere along with the keys. So yeah, we're gonna go charge this battery up while we wait for the ferry. It made it on the ferry. I was like one of the last cars to get on. We had to get push started in the ferry lineup. These jumper cables, they didn't seem to work and it wouldn't start, so thank you to the person behind who push started me. So we're just getting ready to dock in Sports Bay here on Vancouver Island to get off the ferry. As we were, well, we'll back up a bit. Yesterday when we were at Bruce Donnellan's place, we had to park on a pretty steep hill at his place, and the park pin, when we went to leave, it had too much pressure on it and didn't want to come out. So trying to get it in the gear, the shifter, something broke in the shifter. And it's been working okay up until now. We've had reverse, neutral, and drive, which is really all you need, but no park. So when we put it on the ferry, Shannon put it in park just to make sure it doesn't roll. And when we went to leave, like we just came back to our vehicles to leave, and the shifter's completely broken right now. So I crawled underneath and put it in, just manually clicked it into drive. But the shifter being broken, the neutral safety switch still doesn't work. So I just had to show her how to like slide the little thing over on the steering column. So hopefully that works. In the meantime, while we're sitting here waiting to unload, thought I'd give you a little history on this car. I bought this car in London, Ontario a few weeks ago, and it got shipped out to basically the West Coast. Yeah, I think I already explained to you all this, how it was going to go to Ross's place and then it went to Carl's place. So we'll skip that. Anyways, the guy that I got it from, apparently, according to him, this was a drag car in the 60s in Indiana. That's when it was chopped. It had a 392 Hemi in it. He got the car in 1980 and built it to what it is now. I'm assuming when he got the car, he means that he got just the body, because it's on like basically a stock 32 chassis. It's got a stock 32 front end in it. It's got a 56 Ford rear end on 36 Ford wishbones. That's why the wheels are too far forward, because it's got 36 wishbones with the 32 curved spring. So that's one of the things we got to fix up. But this chassis definitely doesn't look like it's ever had a Hemi in it. So I'm assuming that's what he meant, is he got the body and then just put it back together on a stock chassis. I don't have much other history from that. The guy, he's really old, and he was really hard to talk to. You'd ask him a question about it, and he'd just kind of go off on a completely unrelated story. So that's basically the lowdown on this thing. The plan, I don't really have a plan yet for it. It was kind of just like an impulse, spur of the moment, let's do this thing. But we're going to start by getting the rad straightened out, get the wheelbase straightened out, rewire the entire car from start to finish, get the gas tank sorted out, make it safe, make it a safe car to start with. And once we're at that point, then we'll kind of figure out what direction to go in it. So anyway, we're almost home. Once we get off this boat, we got about another 40-minute drive, and we're finally at home. I get to sleep in my bed for the first time in 15 days, 16 days. I can't remember how long we've been gone. It's been an adventure.
We haven't made it far, and it's still dying again. But the good news is Shannon found the keys for it in an envelope. So at least now, like, the alternator's charging the battery and stuff. We've got, I think, 20 more kilometers to go. We're almost in town, almost home. Let the coil cool down a bit and try it again. Shannon just took the coil off the Roadster to replace this coil, because this one says to use with a resistor. And this car doesn't have a resistor, and this one does not need a resistor. This is that same coil that we got in Bonneville to try to fix the Roadster. So hopefully it'll work. We're gonna try it now, because we can only go like not even a minute and it dies. Nope, did not fix it. We made it home.
We made it home.
Finally.
So you know what it was? It wasn't the coil, like Shannon thought. It was a fuel pump. Because after we changed the coil, it made it like another 30 seconds down the road and died again. So I popped the air cleaner off and ran the throttle, and there was nothing squirting. It was as dry as a popcorn fart. So it jumped. What? It's pretty dry.
Yeah.
So I dumped some gas down the carburetor, and it fired right up again. So I took the fuel line off the tank, put it in a jerry can, and it didn't change anything. So then I hooked it back up again, primed to the real tank, primed the carburetor. And once I realized that just the fuel pump can't keep up, we basically just idled the rest of the way home, high idle, and it ran fine the whole time. I think it got hot. There's no temperature gauge in it, but a couple times it's puked coolant out the top, and then it's puked some steam out the top. But who cares? Because it made it home, and we're at home after 16 days on the road. Both vehicles made it home. The shifter's still broken in the truck,
Yes.
but it still made it home. Everything made it home, and we're at home.
All we need is Doris.
Yeah, Doris is going to come soon, and then we're going to go to bed.
Yes. For days. Hi! Look at that go! Hi!
Hi, Doris.
Oh, they're so soft. You've been swimming.
Whoa.
Okay, that concludes our series finale on the summer road trip tour. That's the end of part 3. So we did Hot Rodorama, Bonneville Speed Week, and then went up to Make It Customs to pick up the 32 Ford and trekked it back home. It's been a heck of an adventure, and I'm so glad to be home. Yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the website, lgspeedcustom.com, and get a LG Speed and Custom t-shirt if you want to support this channel. Also check out thecavaleros.com. All the music in this video was done by local Victoria surf band The Cavaleros, so go check them out. Other than the shifter braking on the truck ran great. It averaged 13 miles per gallon, which I thought it would do a little bit better, but 13 is still 3 times better than the original engine had. I think if I do a gear swap and get rid of the 411s and put 355s like the Dodge truck would have had in it, should help a little bit. So we'll probably do that in the future, and we got to fix this shifter at some point. So yeah, I can't think of anything else. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. Good night. See you later. Thanks for watching.
The horn work?
Get in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, are you a hot rod dog? You don't care.